What's happening YouTube? It's your man, your brother, More Motivation, back with another reaction video. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. So, we got a new video here. The name of the video is 5 times Larry Bird was hurt and he refused to quit. So this is suggested to me by a numerous amount of subscribers. Thank you very much. A shout out to Dave Burke, Christine, I cannot pronounce your last name there, and Amber Burris. Thank you very much for the suggestion of the video. I cannot wait to check it out. It should be awesome. For everybody else, thank you for coming back to my channel. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos. God bless. Alright, let's get into it. Let's react.
You know, to his credit, he gets up and fights through it and goes out there and plays, but he is not a healthy person right now.
I've never met an athlete that would play with pain the way he does, and an athlete that's so highly self-motivated as Larry Bird.
I think 4 or 5 years you'll think back about what he did, or you'll just, you'll go that. I think it's one of those things that as the years go by, it'll become bigger and bigger and bigger.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back in a video. For this time, once again, we have to talk about Larry Legend, one of my favorite players of all time. And I think even the most casual NBA fan knows that Larry Bird's career was a very tough player, and he overcame tremendous adversity as well as injuries. And I wanted to make a very quick video explaining how tough Larry Bird was and just some of the big time injuries he overcame. So with that being said, let's get into the video and look at 5 times Larry Bird overcame injuries.
I'll link the video down below as well, so you have the original. Shout out to this guy, great job, by the way. I love his style, like the way he does it, as far as the channel goes. Great job on you. I saw a couple of videos, that's why I'm saying that, but never this one in particular. Anyway, let's get into it.
And absolutely dominated.
Let's do this. Here are the keys to my Lamborghini. Let's leave them right there. If you don't
I don't want to curse on the video, guys. I don't want to curse in the video.
At least 1,000.
I don't want to curse in the video.
So the first injury we're going to look at is from 1979, before Larry Bird was even in the NBA. And this injury occurred in a friendly softball game with Larry Bird's brother as well as friends. And here Jackie McMullen explained this very bizarre and peculiar injury.
Well, he shows up, and who's on the other team but his brother? So Larry's playing out in the outfield, and his brother hits this kind of spinning, looping ball, almost like a Tim Wakefield knuckleball. It's just spinning all over the place. And Larry tries to go down and make a basket catch, and his finger goes all the way back. And
That's crazy.
wow, it really hurts. And he looked down, and his finger was completely dislocated and mangled. And, he really was bummed.
You know what Larry reminds me of? Another player that plays through any injury, and that actually had a career cut short, Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant would have had such a much better career if he wasn't stubborn like Larry Bird, playing through injury. You don't see that kind of toughness anymore. You don't see that kind of toughness. It reminds me of Kobe. Kobe tore his Achilles in I think one game, and he walked on the court to shoot the free throws and walked off after tearing his Achilles. That's crazy. I've seen people be carried off the court with that kind of an Achilles tear. Man, he reminds me of Kobe in that aspect. Obviously, their playing styles are much different.
He had to stop playing right away. So now remember, he's been drafted by the Celtics during this point, but he has not signed a contract yet. So his finger is in a bad way. He has to have major surgery with clips put in and pins and everything else. And he never tells the Celtics this has happened. But, sooner or later they get word, and they summon him to Boston. And the trainer examines him and says, and the team doctor examines him, and they say to Red Auerbach, this guy's damaged goods. Now,
Crazy.
Red's like, really?
It's a lot hard,
He says,
man.
come
It's
on,
a
Larry,
lot
get
hard.
dressed. So Larry puts on his stuff. Red throws him the ball. He goes out, starts shooting from all over the floor. He's hitting from everywhere. Throws him a few bounce passes, has him throws a few overhead passes, and he said, you look fine to me, kid. And Bird said, great. But Bird to this day will tell you, he's never had the same feel for the basketball.
So obviously a pretty bad finger injury that affected Bird for the rest of his life. And around 2010, Larry Bird gave an interview and and said his finger to this day is shaped like a boomerang at a 45-degree angle pointing toward his thumb, and he's had 2 surgeries that have failed to straighten it out. But I think the most intriguing thing in that clip is that Larry Bird himself said he never had the same feel for the basketball after this injury. And Bird, for his career already, was one of the best shooters of all time. He was the first player ever to win the 50-40-90 club, and he routinely shot over 90% from the line. But with that being said, Bird actually could have been a better shooter than he was in the NBA if it wasn't for that devastating finger injury. Now, next up on the Bird injury list,
Definitely
we go
the most
to his
complete
back,
shooter ever.
one of the worst injuries a player could ever
One of
have.
the most complete shooters
His injury
ever.
for Bird occurred in 1985 in the middle of his prime. And here's a doctor, as well as a few commentators, talking about how tough Bird was and how difficult it was for him to even play a basketball game.
Larry had 2 jobs his last 7 years of playing. It was playing basketball, and then it was him being committed to taking care of his back.
That's
He
crazy.
had first heard it in 1985, building the driveway at his mom's house back in French Lick.
Larry decides to do it himself. This is Larry Bird, the superstar, out there breaking his back, literally shoveling gravel. And that was the beginning of a process.
I would see him on TV laying down, and then they told me that he had to lay down on planes, different things like that. I was like, wow.
As Magic soared through the prime of his career, Bird was breaking down. His deteriorating back and punishing style of play proving an excruciating mix.
From 88 to 92, it was painful to watch. It was painful to cover. Larry is quite ornery when he's not feeling well, which means he was ornery for those next 4 years.
He could manage the pain in a way that very few people can do.
If you get paid to go to work, you got to go to work.
It was a situation that he was seeing almost daily. He had lost the structural stability in his spine.
Wow.
So it
That's
would
crazy.
slip into abnormal positions to try and lock itself to get an artificial stability. That's like getting your fingers
That's
stuck in a
heartbreaking,
door.
man.
And
That's
somebody's
seriously
still doing it.
heartbreaking. Golly. As an athlete dealing with a lot of injuries, bruh. Longevity is taken for granted. It really is. It's heartbreaking, man. Heartbreaking. Injuries suck. And the older you get, the more they suck.
The door. So what we had to do was unlock his spine, realign it, do techniques that would hold that for 4 hours, 6 hours, that type of thing, and then he'd go play basketball.
So obviously that back injury was pretty devastating for Bird, and it kind
Jesus
of marked
Christ,
the end of
man.
his prime. But even with that being said, Bird in his last 7 seasons still put up tremendous stats, averaging 25.1 points per game, 9.3 boards, 7.0 assists on near 50-40-90 splits. Those stats right there from an offensive perspective are still some of the best stats of all time.
Yeah, definitely.
And once again show Bird could handle pain like few athletes ever. And one of the most remarkable things I've ever heard comes from Larry Bird's former teammate, that being Robert Parrish. According to Parrish, Larry Bird never took painkillers, pills, or any shots in his entire career. Bird simply toughed it out and showed mental toughness as well as physical toughness and played basketball at the highest level for 7 more years. Now also one thing Larry Bird was known for in his career was being mentally tough. And here's a quick story from Kevin McHale talking about Larry Bird's mental toughness after being stuck down in an airport for 10 straight hours.
Back then when we flew commercial, we didn't fly private, we played in a Tuesday night game in Cleveland. And of course we got up for the first flight out. We had a game on Wednesday night in New Jersey. Snowstorm hits Cleveland. We're at the airport at 7 in the morning. Flight's canceled at 7. It's canceled at 8. It's canceled at 9. It's canceled at 10. Canceled at 11, 12. We finally leave about 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon. We fly up to New Jersey. Now the storm has kind of moved into Jersey. And the bus driver says, well, I can't get to the hotel into the arena. I can only go to one place. Well, we had a game that night. We go to the arena. So we get to the arena, and I mean, we're dragging. And we're sitting around the locker room, and, and everybody's kind of, we're tired, and, and all of a sudden, the coach gives a little bit of a speech of, come on, man, guys, we're playing basketball. Let's get ready to go. And Larry stands up, and Larry says, and a couple other few choice words, and he says, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to take it out on their rear ends. So I was like, oh, all right, so let's go. So we go on the floor. Albert King sitting there. Larry walks up to Albert King and goes, don't take this butt whooping personally. I've been eating hot dogs all day. And then Albert King looks at him like, you've been eating hot dogs all day? What's that got to do with me? and we went out and just hammered them. I mean, we terrorized them, and that was Larry. There was no excuses. I mean, he just played, and I tell you, that
Hard.
was just his competitive nature.
Hard.
But a day when you fly all day and eat hot dogs in the airport, best thing was Albert's look on his face like, what hot dogs got to do with me?
And that story from Kevin McHale, for the most part, is pretty comical, but I think it still shows Larry Bird had extreme mental toughness, and when it came to playing basketball, he would give it his best every single night. And I actually went back to Larry Bird's game charts, and I found this game from 1986 on April 13th. In this game, Boston beat New Jersey by 28 points. Larry Bird had 26, 4, and 3 on 64% shooting, and he didn't miss a single three-pointer or a single free throw. And what makes it even more impressive to me is this game versus New Jersey was the last game of the season. Bird could have easily packed it in and waited for the playoffs, but still, he wanted to play this game for his teammates as well as his coaches.
That's good, man.
And that year in '86,
And that's the kind of teammate you can trust too. The teammate that shows up, you know what I mean? That shows up to work. Isn't whining and crying over an ankle sprain or a little cough or whatever it is players have now that they cry about. And the thing what pissed me off about LeBron breaking that record, like a couple of months ago, is after that he was not even playing. He was not even playing. He magically had an injury after. Stopped playing for a bit. Of course, the Lakers made the playoffs after, but players now don't care. They don't care. They care about breaking scoring records and breaking records and filling off stat sheets, but they don't actually care about the game of basketball. You know what I mean? Maybe part of the reason why is because players get paid so much. They got the media, they got load management, which I think is stupid. Anyway, man, Anyway, the game is just watching the game now frustrates me. I only watch highlights.
Bird didn't miss a single game playing all 82. And if you compare that mindset from Bird to the modern day players, it's simply night and day. I pretty much guarantee you, any modern day superstar will 100% sit out that game.
Oh, they'll sit out months, man.
But
They'll
not
sit out
Larry
months.
Bird.
They'll sit out months,
Larry
man.
Bird in his prime, 1980 to 86, really before his big time injuries, he played 561 out of 574 games. He played all 82 games 3 times and over 36 minutes per game every single year. In 2 years, he actually led the NBA in minutes per game. So back in the day, Larry Bird, if he could walk, he was 100% suiting up and playing basketball. But the one time in Bird's career where he simply could not play was in 1989. This year, Larry Bird had severe bone spurs, he had what many people thought was a broken foot, and he had double Achilles surgery. And back in the day, an Achilles injury could possibly be the end of your career.
Man, I hate that. I hate hearing that injury, Achilles. Oh my God, it takes out so many athletes. When you hit Achilles, God, it's scary.
Not for Larry Bird, as the following year, he had a very great and underrated season, averaging 24.3 points per game, 9.5 boards, 7.5 assists, while playing 75 games at 39.3 minutes per game, while leading the NBA in free percentage. So even after all his injuries, Larry Bird once again came back to all-star form, and he overcame double Achilles surgery.
Wow.
Now the last Bird injury we have is in 1991, and this injury is also the last great Larry Bird moment in the 91 playoffs versus the Indiana Pacers. And to kind of set the stage, in this series, Boston, they were heavily favored, but in games 1 through 4, Bird was not playing up to par, only averaging 18 points per game, 9 assists, 8 boards, on 37% shooting, and 11% from 3. And back in the day in the first round, it was a best-of-5 series. So Game 5 was a winner-take-all game. And near halftime of this game, Larry Bird would go down with a severe head injury, possibly a broken cheekbone, as well as a mild concussion.
That's heartbreaking, man. That's heartbreaking. You hate that. I hate that. As an athlete, your body just fails you. You know what I mean? It just fails you. Your heart is there, your brain is there, your work ethic is there, but your body fails you. That's the worst. That's the worst. That's the worst.
Larry Bird is headed directly to the locker room for treatment.
But in typical Larry Bird fashion, he would tough it out, and come back in the middle of the third quarter.
And here comes Larry Bird.
Nice.
But certainly this
Respect.
out of the pages of Willis Reed in Game 5 of the championship series involving the Knicks and the Lakers. It's 69-70.
Respect.
And in this Game 5 in the Boston Garden, from that moment on, Larry Bird would dominate the remaining 18 minutes of that game, having 17 points, 7 boards and 5 assists, on 60% shooting, leading Boston to a 3-point win. And that Game 5 versus Indy is the last great Larry Bird moment as he overcame injury and dominated in that second half. So with that being said, that is the end of the video. Let me know your guys' thoughts.
Wow.
How tough do you think Larry Bird was? Is he the greatest trash talker of all time? And where do you rank him on your all-time list? Let me know your guys'
Great job, bro. Great job. Great video. Great video. Well, that's it for my reaction. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. He's definitely one of the most, one of the all-time greats I respect the most, man. Not really because of his skill level or any of that stuff, the stats, and I don't really care about that stuff, to be honest with you. I like his heart. I like how committed he is to the game. You know, I like how even under a lot of crazy circumstances, he found a way to play. He loved the game that much, he played. You know what I mean? That's why I appreciate. You know, all the stats, okay, temperatures. I mean, if you have a great team, you're gonna win. But the things about like player characteristics to me matter more. You know what I mean? And that kind of thing I respect, because those are personality traits you can take and use it in certain areas of life to dominate. You know what I mean? And I respect him for that. And obviously, he's a great player. You know, one of the best ever. And yeah, man. Yeah, major respect to Larry Bird. So that's it for my reaction. Thank you so much for coming back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. I appreciate the people that I shouted out to suggest this video. I absolutely love it. I look forward to reacting to more Larry Bird stuff and other all-time greats. If you have any suggestions on who, make sure to comment it down below. I'll get back to you and I'll shout you out at the beginning of that video I do the reaction of. Other than that, like always, get better every day, optimize yourself. See you next video. God bless you.